stop misplaying this card. If you misplay this card and you're on feature, I will roast you. Hey everyone, this is your friendly YCS commentator, Tom Box. And today I'm going to show you how to not misplay the most misplayed card of them all, World Sea Dragon, Zealantis. And it really hurts. Every single time this card gets misplayed, you lose the game. You'll be pretty mad at yourself because you're at the cusp of winning the entire game, and this is how you botched it. So you'll never forgive yourself. You're gonna drop the tournament, and if you're on feature, of course, I will take a couple jabs at you of how you definitely fell through on the execution, okay? Consider this as a ruling video as well as executing all the hypotheticals so you guys can visualize how the misplays look like, all right? But first of all, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell, and good luck to you guys in Vegas, of course. And let's jump in with a quick recap on the deck itself. The Snake Eye Fire King. And here's the extra deck. All right, this is the monster we're focusing on today, so let's talk about it. Lesson number 1, how to execute this combo so you don't get a slow play warning while trying to do it. There's not too much to think about it. If you have Flamberge and another monster, you have the entire combo. Alright? It's that simple. So, with Flamberge and another monster, you link summon into anything that can be linked off. In this case, IP Masquerena, trigger the Flamberge effect, summon out 2 level 1s onto the field, and this is exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for a link to something to go into Promethean Princess and an additional monster that will be destroyed by Promethean Princess. That's how you read it, and now you can proceed to link off those monsters into a Promethean Princess. Princess effect, summon back your largest monster available, that's a fire, so we're gonna go with Flamberge this time, and now we're gonna continue to link off our monsters, and we're gonna summon out the Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix is just there to chill for a little bit because it's coming back. It forgot its keys, and so we're gonna link someone into Zealantis. Zealantis effect, push the tides, and usually you want to position the opponent's monster in front of one of your extra monster zones, so in case you run Relinquish Anima, we'll get into that in a second, and then you resummon your monsters in attack position. Flip your opponent's monster face down if necessary. And once we get to this point, now we can activate the effect of Promethean Princess since a monster will summon onto the opponent's side of the field via special summon. And we're going to destroy the Flamberge and summon out the Promethean Princess. Keep this one co-linked. And because a fire monster just got destroyed, we get to special summon out our Raging Phoenix. And that's going to gain the attack. And this is also destroyed because of the Promethean Princess. And now you have the exact damage. Even if there was like no big monster for you to destroy, this is already 8,000 damage on its own. Okay, we're running it back now, and this time we're going without the Flamberge Dragon. Essentially, you just need 3 monsters to execute the play as long as you can get the Promethean Princess. And so, the first thing you do is check your opponent's graveyard if there's an Ash, or if there's a Dark monster, because you play both Hita or Dark, and that's going to give you the additional body. And in this case, we're going to use Hita. So we're going to link summon into a Hita. Using Hita's effect, summon into the arrow, don't block your own arrows, and we got there. See, it's the exact same stuff. We put your opponent's monster back. The reason why you should put away your opponent's monster is because Zealantis will give it back, and I'll show you one of the most common misplays. So here we go into the Promethean Princess. Princess effect, summon your largest monster available. Sure, we go for the Kirin. And then we're going to proceed to link summon. Once again, same thing. We have the Raging Phoenix, who's chilling just for a little bit so that, you know, he can cool off with the World Sea Dragon. World Sea Dragon effect does the whole pushing effect, and this gets summoned like this. Activate the effect of our Promethean Princess, destroying the Kirin, and that's going to summon back our Promethean Princess, also destroying the opponent's monster. And with that destroyed, our monster got destroyed, so now we get the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix, so that summons out, and we have 8,000 damage. Essentially the same thing. However, what would have happened if we messed up? All right, misplay number 0. This is the fundamental misplay that leads to all the other misplays, is that Promethean Princess cannot trigger after you use Zealantis. So when you don't have enough monsters, for instance, here we go for Promethean effect. We're going to summon back our Kirin. We're going to link these off into our Raging Phoenix. Here's the problem. When you link this into Zealantis, there's no longer any single fire monsters on the field. That part really sucks. And if you use the effect and resummon the monster on the opponent's side, what are you going to attempt to destroy? This is a very common one, but this is the foundation of all the misplays that lead to the game being thrown right at the end, and that really sucks. So don't make this misplay. And there's many variations that actually lead to it, so I'm going to show you right now. Alright, misplay number 1, I'm going to do it so you guys don't have to. I'm going to activate the effect of Hita to special summon out my opponent's Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. I'm going to link off my Hita and the Kirin into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess special summon back the Kirin. And then we're going to link summon into the Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix, we're going to link that off into the World Sea Dragon. The World Sea Dragon effect activate. And then we're going to special summon your opponent's monster into the extra monster zone line. And this Salamander Sonic Wolf gets special summoned back to the opponent. That's right. See how bad this particular misplay ends up? And so what we're missing now is Promethean Princess cannot activate because we do not have a fire monster on the line anymore. So that really hurts. So this doesn't get summoned out. And without this effect's destruction, you also don't get the Salamander Raging Phoenix. And now you can't even use the effect of Zealantis to destroy cards. You're in a terrible position. So how do you prevent this? Well, here's the tip. Let's go back for a second. So at the point where you make the Promethean Princess, this is essentially the point of no return once you mess up. So you look at the board, you count how many monsters are yours and how many monsters are your opponent's, and make sure you check your side. So when you special summon back from your graveyard, say the Kieran, use your opponent's monsters to link off. Yes, it could be very tasty that, hey, they have the bigger monster, but you're not going to be able to destroy it anyway. Alternatively, you can still leave your opponent's monster available on the field when you use Zealantis' effect, as long as it's like a link monster that doesn't really have any sort of strong follow-up, like not a fire attribute, for instance, because then you have something that is less risky to destroy, as long as you still have the correct amount of fire monsters to get the final play, because Zealantis can still destroy the remaining cards. Then you can go into these Raging Phoenix and then go into the Zealantis. Zealantis can now push, and now you get to actually push into the Kieran that's coming back. That's going to allow you to finally keep your fire monster, Promethean Princess destroy, and we've seen this time and time again. So we get to still end up like this. Make sure you don't hold on to your opponent's monster. This happened on Cam Neal where he pushed and he lost the card. He couldn't blow up, and essentially that is a very, very big throw. And especially when you go into Zealantis, you're essentially gonna win the game. You're so close because this is the OTK, and fumbling right before the OTK sucks even more. Misplay number 2, your opponent's monster never returned to the field after you use Zealantis. So let's go with something of non-consequence here, and I'll show you how you can OTK even though your opponent doesn't have a single monster. Shout out to Billy Break on that one. So we're going to activate Promethean Princess, summon out the Ash. We're gonna not use any effects to simplify things. We are linking them off. Okay, and we're gonna go into the Raging Phoenix into the World Sea Dragon effect push, but this is a Hugin. This has not been fusion summoned properly, and therefore once you banish this card, it does not return to the field, and you get to summon out 2 monsters instead. And that's where it ends. You have no way to activate Promethean Princess because there's no monster on the opposing side of the field. And without that, you really don't have access to very much. Okay, so how do you OTK through this? Let's rewind a bit. So what about in the case that your opponent doesn't have any monster when they finish off? So what's the pivot to actually get the OTK? Number 1, if you get to a point position like this, the way you win is that you just don't do the combo. Instead, you just go for the maximum damage push, and that's much easier. So you just go Promethean Princess. If you have a Garunix in your graveyard, go for the Garunix. You don't need to style on your opponent by going to Zealantis. Garunix effect, you can destroy Kieran or an Arvada. It doesn't really matter. If you go for Kieran, then you get to destroy this anyway, and then you gain this to like what, 39, 27, and the additional monster you push out. If it's a Ponix, you might be a little bit short, but if you have another monster, you can just link these 2 off into another fire monster, and then you still have enough damage. But in the case, okay, let's go for the case where this is the worst case scenario. You don't get to destroy the monster. You pop an Arvada, you summon out Ponix. This is still here. So then what do? There is a way to kind of push through it directly, and so we are still going to make the play. We're still going to link off our monster, and we're still going to make the Raging Phoenix, and then we're still going to go into Zealantis. We're going to leave 2 monsters on the field this time, alright? And then we're going to use Zealantis effect. That's going to push away this card. That's not going to be summoned back, and we get a bunch of monsters like this. Well, it seems like I just weakened my board entirely, but no, you take these 2 monsters, alright, your 2 fire monsters, and then you link summon into your Nightmare Phoenix. It just needs something with decent attack that's a fire, and Nightmare Phoenix is probably the best choice, and you need it to be co-linked. So now you can go to battle phase, you swing for 25, you swing for 19, that's over 4k. And now you can activate the effect of Zealantis, and you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field. So you destroy your own Phoenix. What happens when you destroy the Phoenix? The Raging Phoenix comes back, and this summons, and it gains the attack. That's over 4k, and does another swing, and that will hit 8,000 damage easy. Shoutouts to Billy Break. Misplay number 3, running into Kieran or Flamberge or anything with a massive follow-up. And I'll show you why. What you have to pay attention to, but let's play into the Kieran one first. So we're going into just the default standard, Zealantis push. Go into Raging Phoenix into Sea Dragon. Sea Dragon, activate the effect, push the tides, resummon into the correct zones. Activate the effect of Promethean Princess. The moment you activate this, the combo is done. There's a very big problem when it comes to this because Promethean Princess is going to destroy the Ashe and the Kieran, summoning itself. Okay, this is going to also trigger the Raging Phoenix and the Kieran. All right, Raging Phoenix activates, summons itself out, whatever. That's probably chain link 1. So what's going to happen first is that the Kieran's going to summon back likely any of the Fire King monsters, say Sacred Phoenix, or worst case scenario, it will be the Arvada, because they're going to summon this one anyway through its own effect, and they're going to destroy the Zealantis. So they can just put this stuff in defense mode. This is going to destroy another card, making it maybe just as strong, if not stronger, than the Raging Phoenix. And now you can't OTK. You don't have the destruction effect of Zealantis anymore because you don't have the co-link set up for this particular line. And so from here, you're not going to be able to establish an OTK because you have to push through 2 additional monsters. So definitely the damage is not enough through this play. And your opponent gets a turn back, and 1 card is more than enough to kind of get a full clap back. Scenario number 2, you have the Promethean Princess, and then there's the Flamberge on the other side. So the follow is that they're going to summon a bunch of monsters along the way. Let's play it out and see what happens. And do we actually lose everything? Raging Phoenix into Zealantis. Zealantis effect, do the major push. Everything is here, and then we're gonna activate the Promethean Princess, destroying our own Ashe and destroying their Flamberge, and we're gonna summon this onto the field. Chain link 1 is going to be the Raging Phoenix, chain link 2 is going to be Flamberge, and this is what you have to pay attention in the graveyard. So they have a Linkuriboh in there, they also have Oak and Ashe, and you have to make sure you finish them off, because when you allow both of these cards to trigger during your opponent's turn, it's going to be another summon from the graveyard. So 2 search and an extra summon. You have enough body, so everything is accounted for, but you have Sea Dragon, you can destroy the cards, so you think. And if this one doesn't destroy a really high attack monster, I don't think you can take lethal. You need this one to be over 5,300 attack to guarantee that you can take the game from this particular position. Now, the Linkuriboh could matter very little as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you know the rules. So from here, you should proceed into the battle phase, and once you proceed into the battle phase, at the start of battle phase, that's the only timing that this Linkuriboh has to come out, and it cannot come out on an attack declaration. If it comes out on an attack declaration, it will not be able to use the effect because it will come out on the attack declaration. Replay does not count it towards as a red declaration of an attack, okay? A replay does not count as that, so it will not trigger. So in this case, you go into battle phase, just declare the attack first, and then use the effect, okay? So you declare the attack, activate the effect. That makes it very awkward because if they want to use Linkuriboh, they actually take more damage for using Linkuriboh instead. So what they would probably do is just let the monsters basically perish. And then you get to redeclare your attack onto the Poplar, and now you get to attack almost lethal. But if Raging Phoenix does not have 5,300 attack, then you will miss game for sure. That's unfortunate because you got the Zealantis already absorbing 1 of the hits. You're stuck relying on just the 2 monsters, and if they survive, you already know how much they added back. So how do you break this board? Well, if there is an additional monster, then you can use a bunch of small level monsters and you can still get the OTK without triggering the Kieran. As long as that monster is not fire related, because if they have a loaded grave with the Garunix and everything, that's going to lead to a Kieran coming out and probably going to destroy some of your cards. So what you're going to have to do is something like this. So if there's an additional monster, you can go for the Promethean Princess, just bring back anything, and we'll just go for the big monster. This is used, by the way. In this case, you can proceed to just link off, I suppose. Just link off into the Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix, go into World Sea Dragon. World Sea Dragon effect does the big push the opponent's monster, like the opponent's like Kieran, into the extra monster zone column as a way to kind of break through it. They summoned out cards. This is, say, non-consequential to destroy, so you're going to use the Promethean Princess, destroy your own monster, summon this out, and that's going to destroy this. And then as a result, Raging Phoenix will activate and summon itself out. Then you can take the Poplar or whatever level 1 that you have, and you get to summon out the anima absorb, and now you can go for game. This is something that's pulled from Jesse's book, because this is what he did to Jeff Jones, similarly, in a similar case. But what if they have just the Kieran? For a board like this, say they only have Kieran, then you have to run through the numbers here. What's their life point at? If they're less than 8,000, say they're at 79, then you have lethal, as long as you have a copy of Flambeau Dragon that you can leave on the field, because you can do exactly 79 with 3 monsters. However, in the case that they are at perfect life points and you do not want to leave them with 100 left, then you're gonna need an additional monster. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. If you have Garunix that you can special summon back and revive back Aponix, then that's fine too. But in the case that you don't have enough damage, say I'm gonna use the effect of Promethean Princess, summon this out, because whatever the case may be, we led to this position. We're gonna link summon these two. Think of this as a dueling puzzle here. We're gonna go into the Raging Phoenix. We'll link that down or link that up into Zealantis. Use the effect, push the Kieran into the same column of an extra monster zone, and these all come back. We're going to take the Ash and we're going to link summon again into Relinquish Anima. We're going to take the monster. However, if you do the math right here, you're kind of short, right? We have 24, there's 29, okay, and there's also 29. We're 200 short of doing enough damage to take out the opponent. Well, that's only partially true unless you decide to link these two off, and we're just gonna take a page from the previous combo. We're gonna go into, Nightmare Phoenix and get the co-link. So you can do the swing, use the effect of Zealantis, destroy your own Phoenix. Now we can summon back our Raging Phoenix, because a fire monster got destroyed, and gain the attack, and we can push the last 4K. And that's it. To summarize this, lesson number 1, make sure you have a fire monster to destroy. Lesson number 2, make sure your opponent has a monster to destroy. Lesson number 3, make sure that you know who owns which monster when you're going to be making this particular play, just in case you fell into the category of lesson number 1. And lesson number 4, find ways to maneuver your opponent's monster in a way that will not result in you kind of setting off a chain reaction, destroying your own field. All right, these are some of the key misplays that we've seen time and time again. You're not going to make it, and I'm going to be able to, feature you in a way that shines, I'll make you sound super smart on feature. All right, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you at YCS Vegas.